Thomas Jefferson, the eloquent wordsmith of liberty, found himself thrust into a role far different from the philosophical halls of independence. As the second governor of Virginia, the weight of a fledgling nation rested heavily on his shoulders. The year was 1779, and the Revolutionary War, once a distant storm on the horizon, raged across the southern colonies. Virginia, the breadbasket of the rebellion, became a prime target for British aggression. Jefferson, a man of the pen more than the sword, faced this new challenge with a determined spirit. He understood the gravity of his position. Virginia, his beloved home, stood as a bulwark against British tyranny. Its vast resources and strategic importance made it a coveted prize for the enemy. The fate of the revolution, he knew, could very well hinge on the defense of his state. The war in the South was a different beast altogether. Gone were the pitched battles of the North, replaced by a brutal guerrilla conflict. The British, frustrated by their inability to crush the rebellion outright, resorted to a campaign of attrition and terror. Loyalist militias, sensing an opportunity to settle old scores, joined the fray, their brutality exceeding even that of the regular British troops. Jefferson, accustomed to the world of ideas and political discourse, now grappled with the harsh realities of war. He pored over maps and intelligence reports, trying to anticipate the enemy's next move. The defense of Virginia, he realized, would require more than just words and ideals. It would demand every ounce of courage, resourcefulness, and sacrifice from its people. The British, under the command of Lord Cornwallis, a seasoned and ruthless commander, tightened their grip on the south. Charleston, a vital port city, fell in 1780, sending shockwaves through the colonies. The defeat sent a clear message. The British were not here to negotiate. They were here to conquer. Rumors of British movement swirled through Virginia like a gathering storm. Reports from refugees painted a grim picture of the enemy's advance. They spoke of burned farms, looted towns, and unspeakable atrocities committed against those who dared to support the rebellion. Fear and uncertainty gripped the countryside, casting a long shadow over Jefferson's administration. The Virginia militia, though brave and determined, was ill-equipped and outnumbered. They fought valiantly, but the British juggernaut seemed unstoppable. Each victory for the colonists was met with a swift and brutal counterattack. The war, once a distant rumble, now thundered at Virginia's doorstep. Jefferson, facing mounting pressure, refused to give in to despair. He rallied his countrymen, urging them to stand firm against the invaders. In his speeches and proclamations, he invoked the ideals of liberty and self-determination, reminding Virginians what they were fighting for. He knew that the spirit of '76, the very soul of the revolution, lived within the hearts of his people. Despite the growing threat, life in Virginia continued, albeit under a cloud of apprehension. Farmers tended their fields, their muskets leaning against fences, ready at a moment's notice. Merchants went about their business, their eyes constantly scanning the horizon for signs of danger. Jefferson, a firm believer in the importance of agriculture, urged his fellow Virginians to remain steadfast in their work. The fields, he argued, were as important as the battlefield. A bountiful harvest would not only feed the army but also sustain the spirit of the people. He knew that fear and panic were the enemy's greatest allies. "Let us not," he proclaimed, "neglect the arts of peace, even while we are compelled to practice the arts of war." He called upon the women of Virginia to contribute to the war effort by spinning cloth, making bandages, and tending to the wounded. He reminded them that their courage and resilience were as vital to the cause of liberty as the bravery of the soldiers on the front lines. Jefferson's words resonated with the people. They understood that their governor was not asking them to ignore the danger, but to face it with courage and determination. They continued their daily routines, ever mindful of the sacrifices demanded of them. The rhythm of life, though punctuated by moments of fear and uncertainty, went on. The early months of 1781 brought a sense of foreboding. Intelligence reports, often fragmentary and unreliable, hinted at a major British offensive aimed at the heart of Virginia. Jefferson, sensing the impending danger, strengthened Richmond's defenses and ordered the militia to heighten their vigilance. Then, on January 2nd, 1781, the storm broke. A British fleet, under the command of the traitor Benedict Arnold, appeared off the coast like a pack of wolves descending on their prey. The ships, their cannons gleaming menacingly in the winter sun, sailed up the James River, their destination Richmond, the capital of the rebellion in the south. Panic gripped the city as news of the British arrival spread like wildfire. The militia, outnumbered and outgunned, prepared for a desperate defense. Jefferson, his face etched with concern, rallied his advisors. The situation was dire, he knew, but he refused to abandon hope. The defense of Richmond, however, proved to be short-lived. Arnold, a skilled tactician, outmaneuvered the inexperienced militia and captured the city with minimal resistance. The fall of Richmond, a symbolic blow to the revolution, sent shockwaves throughout Virginia and beyond. Section 5. Invasion. The fall of Richmond was not merely a military defeat, it was a psychological blow to the heart of the revolution. The British, emboldened by their success, rampaged through the Virginia countryside, leaving a trail of destruction in their wake. Plantations were looted, crops were destroyed, and those suspected of aiding the rebellion faced swift and brutal retribution. Jefferson, now a hunted man, received word of the British advance while at Monticello, his beloved home. With enemy troops closing in, he made the agonizing decision to flee, leaving behind a lifetime of possessions and memories. His escape was a desperate race against time, a frantic dash through enemy-held territory. As he rode through the Virginia countryside, he witnessed firsthand the devastation wrought by the British invasion. Burned-out homes dotted the landscape, silent testaments to the enemy's ruthlessness. Refugees clogged the roads, their faces etched with fear and despair, their belongings piled high on wagons. Jefferson, once a symbol of hope and defiance, now shared the plight of his fellow Virginians. He understood their fear, their anger, and their desperate yearning for deliverance. The weight of their suffering, the burden of their hopes, rested heavily on his shoulders. The journey from Monticello was fraught with peril. British patrols roamed the countryside, their eyes peeled for any sign of the fugitive governor. Jefferson, traveling with a small group of loyal companions, relied on stealth and cunning to evade capture. They rode through forests, their horses' hooves muffled by the soft earth, and slept in hidden clearings, their sleep punctuated by nightmares of redcoats and bayonets. On one occasion, a British patrol came within a hair's breadth of capturing them. Hidden in a thicket, Jefferson listened with bated breath as the enemy soldiers rode past, their voices carrying in the still night air. The encounter, a stark reminder of the danger he faced, left him shaken but undeterred. He knew that his capture would be a propaganda coup for the British. As days turned into nights, Jefferson's thoughts turned to his family. He had sent his wife and children to safety, but he worried constantly about their well-being. The separation, made all the more painful by the uncertainty of their fate, weighed heavily on his mind. He clung to the hope of reunion, a beacon of light in the darkness that enveloped him. The escape, a harrowing ordeal, tested Jefferson's physical and emotional limits, yet he refused to surrender to despair. He drew strength from the knowledge that he was not alone in his struggle. Thousands of Virginians, their homes and livelihoods destroyed, endured similar hardships. Their courage, their resilience, fueled his own determination to see the revolution through to its end. After weeks of perilous travel, Jefferson reached safety, his spirit unbroken but his faith in a swift victory shaken. He immediately set about rallying support for the defense of Virginia, his words carrying a new urgency, tempered by the fires of his recent ordeal. He understood that the fate of the revolution, the very survival of the fledgling nation, hung in the balance. Desperate for reinforcements, Jefferson penned a heartfelt plea to General George Washington, the commander-in-chief of the Continental Army. He described in vivid detail the desperate situation in Virginia, the suffering of its people, and the threat posed by the British forces. He implored Washington to send troops, supplies, and most importantly, hope. The enemy, he wrote, are ravaging the country with fire and sword. Our militia, though brave, are outnumbered and outmatched. We implore you, General, to come to our aid, to deliver us from this scourge. His words, imbued with the urgency of a man who had witnessed the horrors of war firsthand, conveyed the desperation of Virginia's plight. Jefferson understood the strategic importance of Virginia to the overall war effort. Its loss, he knew, would be a devastating blow to the morale of the revolution and would provide the British with a strategic foothold in the South. He staked his hopes on Washington, the one man who could turn the tide of the war. The British invasion of Virginia, a dark chapter in the state's history, tested the mettle of its people and its leaders. Jefferson, thrust into the crucible of war, faced challenges that few could have anticipated. He emerged from the ordeal a changed man, his idealism tempered by the harsh realities of conflict. His leadership during this tumultuous period, though marked by setbacks and disappointments, demonstrated his unwavering commitment to the cause of liberty. His desperate flight from Monticello, his tireless efforts to rally support for the war effort, and his heartfelt pleas for assistance revealed a man of courage, determination, and compassion. The lessons learned during Virginia's darkest hour would stay with Jefferson for the rest of his life. He carried with him a profound understanding of the fragility of freedom and the importance of vigilance in safeguarding it. The experience would shape his views on the nature of government, the importance of a strong national defense, and the need for a united and resolute citizenry. The invasion also underscored the vital role that ordinary citizens play in defending their liberties. From the farmers who took up arms to defend their homes to the women who tirelessly supported the war effort, Virginians demonstrated their unwavering commitment to the cause of independence. Their sacrifices, their courage, and their resilience served as a testament to the indomitable spirit of the American Revolution. The war in Virginia raged on for months after the British invasion. Washington, heeding Jefferson's pleas, dispatched troops south, culminating in the decisive Franco-American victory at Yorktown in October 1781. The victory, a turning point in the war, forced the British to the negotiating table, ultimately leading to the recognition of American independence. Jefferson, though deeply affected by the ordeal, emerged from the war with his spirit unbroken. He would go on to serve his country in various capacities as Minister to France, Secretary of State, Vice President, and ultimately as the third President of the United States. His legacy, forever intertwined with the founding of the nation, is a testament to the power of ideas to shape the destiny of a people. His words, enshrined in the Declaration of Independence, continue to inspire generations with their timeless message of liberty, equality, and the pursuit of happiness. The British invasion of Virginia, though a dark chapter in American history, served as a crucible from which a new nation emerged stronger and more determined than ever before. It was a stark reminder that freedom, once won, must be constantly guarded and defended. It was a testament to the courage, resilience, and unwavering spirit of the American people. And it was a legacy that Thomas Jefferson, the farmer from Monticello, would carry with him for the rest of his days.